Broadcasting live from the catacombs deep beneath the empty Walla Gamer offices, I'm Spider-Duck writer Greg, and I've got a guest with me. Please introduce yourself.
And I'm your reporter on the scene, Jeremy, coming to you live from Mount Vesuvius. We're down to the final confrontation here, the big enchilada, level 8 Mario Brothers, the final battle. And the action is definitely heating up. Greg, give us a little bit of color. What's going on here? What's your take on the situation?
This obviously is a lot different than the final stage in the NES version.
Well,
and that's because in the larger scheme of things, Remastered has a much different structure than the NES version, where the NES version stages very much had an order to them. If you played them out of order, it kind of didn't make too much sense. If you played the moon first, it would be kind of weird that you get this big giant maze right up front.
Yeah,
whereas,
the player wouldn't really be up for it. Yeah, I see what you're going for here.
Yeah. Whereas in Remastered, the stages are pretty balanced. They're all about 20 to 25 minutes long. You got plenty of mazes in there. And so in order to impose a sense of order, the developers put in an intro stage to get you into the mechanics, and a finale stage as like a final exam for the mechanics.
Which we're seeing here, yeah.
Yeah, so they put all the interesting mechanics in. They put back in the skeletons that you have to kill in the right spot in order to get the chests. We see right here there's plenty of bat enemies. There's going to be minecarts and boulders to dodge. So every interesting mechanic makes a reappearance. And
Also, you'll notice that they take a little bit of time to recreate the same sense that it's like the Transylvania level. They use a lot of the same monsters. It's just the backgrounds that's different, it's the maze is different. They just throw little shout-outs to the original final stage. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess it is interesting that the skeletons are from the Transylvania stage.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Oh, this is cool. I like this. Hang on.
There's got to be a way through.
Put your back into it, McDuck!
Hurry up, Glumgold. Time is money.
It could be dangerous, McDuck. You go first.
Oh, what a jerk. Yeah, so this stage doesn't have the usual maze. It doesn't have you collecting any little MacGuffins to get you through. It's just a lot of death traps, like this one that you're about to fall into in 3, 2, 1, boom. Nice.
Yeah, I've wanted to get the gem, but I didn't make the jump properly, and so I paid the price.
Yeah, you killed the enemy too quick, and the game was pretty unforgiving about that. But yeah, as a bonus, for this being a rather short and difficult level, they intersperse it with all these wonderful little tidbits like we just heard with Scrooge and Glumgold just bickering the whole way through. There'll be more of that later on. That's pretty great. Just one of the little touches that made this sort of the big game event that it was. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it is nice that Glomgold, as opposed to just coming in out of the blue, for this stage, you spend the entire time bickering with him and you really feel that DuckTales character come out.
Hurry up, I'm growing old! Just not as old as you!
I'm going as fast as I can.
I'd like to send out a little shout out right here to Alan Young, the voice of Scrooge McDuck. How he just got called old in that. He really is 92 years old as he records this. I mean, can you believe it? That's the original voice of Scrooge McDuck. 92 years old and still kicking in the voice acting industry. And he still nails it.
That's... I'm without words. That's super impressive.
Mm-hmm. Incidentally, by contrast, that is not the original Flintheart Glumgold. Yeah, that was just an impersonator, but they got as many of the original voice actors as they could. I'll do more on that one later. And here we're getting close to about the midway point of the final level. Go ahead.
Actually, speaking on audio, the intro and final levels obviously didn't have versions in the music in the NES version. So Jake Kaufman, the guy who does music for Way Forward, he came up with some original tunes, and I don't know, I don't think they fit the DuckTales style all that well, but they are still really awesome tunes. They are worth listening to.
Watch where you're putting that thing, Scroogey!
Watch where you're putting that. Like they know you just couldn't resist giving him a quick swat in his tail feathers. That's the one time he helps you in this level, by the way. The whole setup is supposed to be that he's helping you, and that is the one time he does anything useful.
Yeah, they had to make that pact so that Scrooge could make that one jump.
Yep. And technically speaking, I mean, yeah, it would have been unbeatable without him, but yeah, thanks, Flinty. There's also a lot more treasure to be collected in this. As we saw in the original final level, you know, it was a drought. There was no treasure to be collected. It was pure obstacle course. Here they give you a chance to, use the skills you've learned for treasure hunting. I mean, these are actually, Greg makes this look really easy right here, but a lot of these treasure chests is really easy to miss or to screw yourself out of them.
Where you go, you old pillow stuffer?
I'm helping like you asked. Quit complaining.
Oh yeah, thanks for helping. Yeah, we saw that. Standing there with his arms crossed. Yeah, that's helping. Meanwhile, you're bouncing across fire and lava bricks. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
This is like my third or fourth playthrough watching here, so yeah, I have plenty of practice on this stage.
So yeah, the music, interestingly enough, you can unlock 8-bit versions of the first and last level music and play them in-game, and they really do fit with the style of the rest of the game. It's pretty clever how they did that.
It's a really nice touch.
Yeah. So you're saying that this guy, the musician for this game, he does his own music outside of it?
Yeah, he's actually really familiar with the NES hardware, so it's not surprising that he would be willing to come up with his own NES remakes.
Chiptunes artist. You should give him a listen.
Yeah, exactly.
This is incidentally one of the best minecart sequences in the game. There are 2 routes to go through.
Yeah, it's kind of clever how they give you the bottom route here.
If you're a real completionist, you'll deliberately die here after taking one route just so you can come back and take the other. The only way to get all the maximum treasure in this level.
I considered it, but I didn't think I could, I had too much pride in my life count.
Yeah, incidentally, when you play on easy mode, you have infinite lives, but by contrast, you don't get any special hidden treasures either. Incidentally, the special hidden treasures only appear on hard mode, I found out. So you're playing on the hardest difficulty level.
Well, after you beat hard mode, you unlock a difficulty mode where you can't... I think you can't save. That's the rule, and I still haven't beaten that. Because,
wow, playthrough, just like the original NES, huh?
I've only played that on my Wii U, and the 2 times I've tried, it crashed.
Wow.
That was a good experience.
That's some nice debugging there, Way Forward. Nice job.
Well,
this sort of parallels that final hallway in the original NES level where you got falling bricks and ghosts. Now, obviously they pump it up a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So you were saying how this is like the final exam, and you can really see that with the sort of obstacles you're facing here. I mean, they throw everything at you. You've got the bats that are really hard to dodge. You've got chains that break. You've got spikes underneath you.
Washed up has-beens first, McDuck.
Has took you long enough to catch up. What's the matter? Gold bricks in your caboose?
Oh, shut your beak. You're not getting any younger yourself, you old windbag.
Hush! Magica may not know we're here yet. We don't want to lose the element of surprise.
So, you have decided to deliver Dime after all.
Release my nephews, you evil enchantress!
Oh, not until you show me number 1 Dime.
Here it is. Now let the boys... What?
It's been great doing business with you, Scroogey.
You too! You've been in cahoots from the beginning.
No, even before beginning. Do you remember who sold your painting in first place? 'Twas me in disguise, you fool.
Why, you... No wonder it was such a bargain.
$5 painting for you saved expensive treasure hunting expedition for me. And now, at long last, I am ready to use treasures to complete spell.
Enough with the smoke and mirrors routine. You've got my dime. Now release the lads.
Oh, boo-hoo. No time for buyer's remorse from old has-been. Better to stick with master plan. Is much more exciting. I now summon Dracula Duck. Behold! Dracula Duck. I, Magica Dispel, have summoned you to do my bidding. You must obey my will and mine alone. And my will is that you destroy this meddling old fool.
Man, the dialogue in this game just crackles. I mean, it is so true to the series. It's wonderful.
Man, I haven't had a crackle in forever.
Those things are delicious. Why don't they ever sell them on their own? You always have to buy them in like the packs with the chocolates, with the Hershey's, the peanuts. You just can't get them on their own.
As for the gameplay, one interesting note here is that the time you get to dodge the bats is variable. They gauge how far you have to walk and give you just enough time.
Actually, if you get into the right spot, they will automatically drop the bats early just so you're not standing there waiting, which is kind of a nice little programmer's courtesy. You actually have plenty of time to get to the safe spot, but if you get there early, yeah.
I like to call that the Space Invaders part.
Yep. Although most of this battle really is almost a total Castlevania shout-out in many ways.
The way Dracula keeps transforming.
Yep, exactly. You've got very careful dodging to be done. I mean, most of the battle comes down to dodging lots of things and then waiting for that one shot to attack. Plus, the whole music just has that whole Castlevania-ish quality.
And here I am without my holy water.
Yep.
One thing I've wanted to mention about the final stage structure is that they focus on the game mechanics by paring back the structure, so you don't get the same sort of mazery that you've seen in the rest of the game.
Yeah, this is very stripped down. It's pure obstacle course.
This boss fight, however, is the opposite of stripped down and takes friggin' forever.
I think it's an improvement, though. The original one seemed kind of underwhelming. This really has more of a final battle quality to it. And I'd also like to take a moment, by the way. You've got Magica in the background, helping him out. You hear her voice around. I'd just like to, just give a shout out. That's June Foray as the voice actress of Magica Dispel, the original voice actress for the show. Alan Young, I said, was 92. She is 96 years old. She is literally a legend in the voice acting industry. I mean, she's a trooper. She recorded this at 96. She's just that good. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I know, because you told me before we started recording.
Yeah. She's the voice of Rocky the Flying Squirrel. She's the voice of, God, what were some of her other roles? She was Witch Hazel from Looney Tunes. She does lots of voices.
Okey smokes.
Yeah. Watch me pull a vampire out of my top hat.
Oh my god.
Watch me pull a final battle out of my rear end at the last second. Hey, Rocky!
Those Rocky and Bullwinkle bumpers got really weird, yeah.
Incidentally, you can bounce on his beak here. I notice you obviously didn't know this, but you can pogo jump on his beak to stay safe through this. I think that's the proper way of doing it.
It's so painful that you brought that up after I have already recorded this.
Hey, I do what I can. Let's see. One little thing that bothers me is his name, Dracula Duck. Is really the best they could come up with? I mean, they come up with clever names for everybody else. He couldn't have been like Whackula?
Duckula.
Well, you can't do Duckula for, well, you're too young to know, but there was a show called Count Duckula that would have been plagiarism.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a good show. It was made in Britain, British TV show. He actually looks a lot like Count Duckula in a lot of ways.
Well, it's hard to make a vampire duck without, just...
But even with the little gray rims around his eyes. That's almost like a shout out to Count Duckula. It was a good show.
Oh.
Yeah. Incidentally, speaking of voice actors, all of the ones did a really good job on this, but some of the ones from the original show did not make it. That's not the original Flintheart. He died. Miss Beakley, her original voice actress, died. That's not the original Fenton or Gyro. Those are entirely new voice actors, but they do pitch-perfect impressions. I had to go back and research this. Yes, it's kind of sad, though, that some of them didn't make it. Seems almost kind of unfair that, like, Alan Young and June Foray did make it. But, that's life.
Literally, huh?
Yeah, well, the end of life. Now here they add an extra bat jump to the final battle, which is pretty clever. It's basic, but it works. It's challenging.
I think it's kind of weird that Magica is so much smaller than her table. Why is she miniature?
I know. Who designed this? This little background world. I mean, it's almost like the world was made for some sort of larger humanoid occupant, possibly based on some other life form entirely.
What, Planet of the Ducks?
Yeah, Precisely.
Oh, boys, I'm so glad you're all right.
We knew you'd save us, Uncle Scrooge. We knew you would. We sure did.
Down that hall, lads. Launchpad will be waiting to take you to safety.
What about you, Uncle Scrooge? Yeah, the whole place is falling apart.
Magica and Glumgold still have my #1 dime, and I'm not leaving without it. You boys get going.
Good luck, Uncle Scrooge.
Now, give me dime.
Not till you give me those treasures. I want to be filthy, stinking rich.
You already are filthy, stinking rich.
But not as rich as that Chiseler McDuck. Where's the treasure?
No more horseplay. I need that dime.
Oh, no, you don't, Missy.
Ah! Let go, you fool.
Not till I get that treasure.
And at last we have the Magica Glumgold final battle weirdness from the NES game explained.
It may surprise you, but it is possible to lose at this part.
It is much easier to lose at this part. They really ramped up the difficulty for this. Wow.
I'm surprised I made it to the midway point on this try. It looks like I'm doing real bad here.
But you made it.
Nice try, Magica, but I'll be taking my dime with me back to Duckburg. Have a lovely time together.
Man, all that for 10 cents.
It
It just goes to show just how money-hungry Scrooge is and how little of a life this guy has. That he's just fought the battle of his lifetime. He sends his kids along to go and escape, but he's willing to put his life on the line just for that one little dime. Although, interesting little mythology gag to the original series. That really is a reference to the show right there. They added in that last little treasure, because that was a major motivation of the bad guys in the show, is to get a hold of that, because apparently that dime was supposed to be the source of his tremendous luck in getting wealth.
Yeah, they referenced that as early as the first Magica episode, so...
Yep. They didn't make that up. That's, it's just nice how much research the developers of this game put into it. Although, maybe they're like us, they were just fans of the show when they were kids and committed large sections of it to memory. Now, you'll notice that this part of the escape is way more difficult than the first half.
Yeah, speaking of committing things to memory...
Yeah. Yeah, this has to be, pixel perfect to escape, especially this last little bit right there.
This is why I like hard mode, because having extra health does not help here. Having extra lives does.
Yeah, all those lives you collected throughout the game.
I guess it's nice that they save between sessions, too.
Yeah, that's true, too. It's a good thing you don't have to do that first part again, or that really would be unfair.
Get us out of here, Launchpad! Me number 1 dime, return safe and sound.
But Uncle Scrooge, what about the treasure? Yeah, we had it and we lost it. Sorry, Uncle Scrooge.
Come on now, boys. We may not have got to keep the treasure, but we had the adventure of a lifetime. And best of all, we got to share it together. You, Webigail, Launchpad.
And Duckworth, too. Don't forget about Mrs. Beakley, and Bubba, and Fenton, and Gyro. They helped us, too.
Indeed they did, lads. Now, come on. Let's head for home.
Let go of me, you doddering old deadweight.
Oh, pipe down, you mangy bird.
It was real swell of you to give Glomgold a lift home, Mr. McD.
Aye. I'll put it on your bill, Flinty. You can pay me back in, say 3 to 5 years. With interest, of course.
I'll get you for this, McDuck. Mark my words.
Now, there's a sight I never get tired of. Come on, lads. Let's head to the ice cream shop.
Wahoo! Hey, can we each get our own cone this time, Uncle Scrooge?
Oh, why not? I'm in a generous mood today. In fact, each of you can even get a cone with ice cream in it.
Yeah, even that ice cream thing is a reference to the show.
Oh, Scrooge, you cheap jerk. You lovable tightwad, you.
I don't know too many lovable tightwads.
Hey, me, actually. Yeah, I'm as cheap as they come. I like this. The lead producer, Tyrannical Overlord, and his name is actually Voldy Way. Presumably that is the guy's name, so somewhere out there is a guy named Voldy.
Huh. I thought that only existed in Soul Calibur.
Or Harry Potter.
Oh, Voldy more.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So that was actually pretty good. You know, I was kind of thinking, do you reckon Scrooge McDuck is supposed to be like, since a lot of the other characters have real life analogs, you think maybe Scrooge McDuck is supposed to be like Andrew Carnegie in a way? I mean, they're both the richest guy in the world. They're both Scottish. They're both kind of adventurous. They're both, tightwads, yet at the same time huge philanthropists. You think they got kind of that going on, maybe?
Yeah, it's easy to see how someone like Carnegie is the inspiration for Scrooge.
Yeah. Scrooge has always been sort of like an icon of like the American spirit, hard work, success, even if it... Although that does seem to contrast with the fact that he owes all of his success to the magic of one lucky dime. I mean, if he didn't have that dime, would he suddenly, be like us?
It's a subtle critique of Tea Partyism.
One little nudge against capitalist culture there. You gotta work hard, but it also takes a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
Like, without the coin, apparently we'd be billionaires, too. Oh well.
So I guess what I'm really getting at is that DuckTales is ultimately a Keynesian philosophy.
Ouch. Had to go there. So you don't think that Duckburg would be the Chicago School of Economics, then?
No.
We're getting deep now. We're getting into the debate. We're getting into real-world stuff now. This is exactly what people who watch a playthrough of a video game want to hear.
Yeah.
But man, they really put the work into this. Incidentally, in the ending of the NES game, you see a little treasure pile that represents how much money you collect. At first it looks like you lost that in this game, but then you think back, the money bin is like the pile of gold that gets, I don't know if you've noticed, but that does get bigger and bigger the more money you collect through the course of your game.
Yeah, I actually didn't show that off in this playthrough, but there is, on the stage select screen, you can back out and walk across the room into your money bin and, do a little swimming.
Yeah, you can do the whole swan dive into it, which everybody who ever grew up watching the show always wanted to do. They give you the chance to do that. Scrooge dives in, spits out a little stream of coins, and does the backstroke through it until you get tired of it. So it's like a measure of your progress that you can visit at any time, as opposed to one little visual snippet in the ending.
Kind of reminds me of, you remember the Banana Horde in the first Donkey Kong Country?
Oh, yeah. This did do that first, didn't it? Yeah. It's pretty nice. This whole game, when it came out, it was a huge sort of event, not just for fans of classic NES gaming and for fans of the show, but, there have been remakes of games before, but this one actually sparked off a bit of a small pop culture phenomenon. You got major game, I guess you would say YouTube personalities who got together to celebrate this game.
You mean like us?
Yeah, not just us, but...
well, we're the only celebrities worth mentioning.
Well, yeah, we're the top of the heap, of course. But, some of the smaller names out there, like the Nostalgia Critic.
Who?
Yeah, I know, Doug something. Yeah, put together some sort of a musical tribute to this game.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
DuckTales, both the cartoon series and the NES game have kind of I don't know. They have
they occupy a certain place in our pop culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. The game itself was one of the classics of the NES period, and the show was, of course, beloved by people who grew up in the 80s. That includes me, you not so much, whippersnapper.
Going back and watching the cartoon, I would definitely, put it up at the top there for children's animated entertainment.
It really was. That was the golden age of Disney cartoons. Interestingly enough, a little musical note here. Take a minute to listen. Do you recognize it? You know what that's from?
I don't have my sound on right now, but I'm gonna guess you're referring to the moon.
Yes, it is a piano remix of the Moon theme. And that's a little shout out, by the way, because there was somebody out there who made a song on YouTube, who am I thinking of? Parental Floss did that song Crazy Ducks in Space to the Moon theme. And one of the lyrics is that, that should have been the final credits music of the game, because it's just so memorable. It's such a good song, but instead they used it as a level theme. They took that as an inspiration. They remixed that song into the ending credits. Just a subtle little shout out, a little acknowledgement to that famous song.
I'm a little skeptical that it's a shout out, but it definitely does work as a final ending tune.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to track down the developers, see what they think. I'd like to get the final word on that. I think I'm right.
It would be interesting to ask them other questions, too.
Yeah, how do we get a hold of these people? How do we get a hold of Voldy Way?
I was actually...
Diagon Alley?
The Speed Demos Archive will do marathons from time to time, and one guy was playing through Double Dragon Neon, which Way Forward also did, and they managed to get one of the developers watching. So that was kind of neat.
Neat. Final music is really good. It actually is quite beautiful. So yeah, that was a pretty good playthrough you put through. That was some pretty top-notch analysis. You did a good job there, Grant.
Well, thank you. I don't like to brag.
Sure you don't. I've listened to you. I know you. But, yeah, this is, it's been a lot of fun working with you. I hope we should do this again sometime.
Yeah. So, I guess, we've fallen opposite ends of the spectrum where I'm more of the NES type, you're more of the remastered type.
I don't know. I love the NES game, but I think there is a bit of a rift between you and I on the quality of the of this remastered game. I'm definitely a fan. You seem to be a bit more critical of it. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's a step backwards in complexity from the NES one, but certainly Remastered is still a really friggin' awesome game.
Okay, I can respect that. There's Duckworth, who... Yeah, was anybody else ever bothered by the fact that he's not actually a duck?
Well, he just has the worth of a duck.
Ah, so in that world, ducks have more worth than dogs? We got like a subtle racism thing there?
Well,
Like,
you got
is it
the
a
Beagle Boys who try to friggin' steal his, out of his money bin, and then you have ducks like Glomgold and Scrooge who are, have gold coming out of their ears.
Right. And then you've got Duckworth, the dog, who is obviously the servant in this case. So is that like a sign of his servant status, that he's taken on the names of his cruel, oppressive master? Like, your name is Toby, for roots. We got like a duck roots going on here.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, let's not go there.
But, dogs are often servants, I feel like, because they're man's best friend, and we see them as our companions. So, we relate to the ducks, but also we have pet dogs.
Okay, what about the Beagle Boys?
I don't know.
Yeah, the announcement. Didn't think that one through, did you, Greg?
You got me.
Yep. And on that note, I think we're going to wrap this little playthrough up. This is Jeremy once again, and...
This is Greg. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.
Zip it up and zip it out. Farewell, Duckburg.